Good evening, dear sisters and brothers. Welcome to today's edition of Being Heartful Every Day, a joyful adventure. We are conducting this program to celebrate Revered Babuji Maharaj's 125th birth anniversary. So we are on week 23, day 160, and the quality for the week is Poise. Before we start the program, a gentle reminder to everybody. Let's try to identify one or two more people who have not started Heartfulness, and a good possibility of starting it. Let's look at our friends and family circles and circulate Daji's masterclasses to them so that they get to know about Heartfulness and start practicing the system. Also, this program that is Being Heartful Every Day has been extremely well received. We have a lot of participation, a lot of inquiries. So please feel free to circulate the email ID below to people who are already practicing Heartfulness in your friends and family circle and who are not yet registered for this program. So they can register and benefit from it. Yeah, let's formally start the program. My name is Prasanna Krishna. I'll be facilitating today's program. So let's start with the inspirational reading part of it. Yesterday, we looked at how contentment can become important in achieving poise in whatever we do. So we had stopped here. So what we can do is we can go one paragraph before that. That is, in this article, we'll explore some of the practices that helps us to experience that connection. But first, let's explore the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, the ancient patriarch of yoga. These sutras were written thousands of years ago and are still so relevant today. What does he say about the second niyama of contentment? Purity leads to contentment, leads to happiness. First, Patanjali says that contentment arises out of purity, the first niyama. He defines 4 qualities that arise out of purity. And the first is contentment. How does this happen? When we remove all impurities, complexities, and heaviness in our system that form coverings around the soul, we purify our field of consciousness, allowing us to focus inward and connect with the soul. It's here that we experience true inner contentment. Second, Patanjali says that extraordinary happiness results from quiet contentment. So purity leads to contentment, which in turn leads to happiness. The extraordinary happiness is an inner state. It has nothing to do with the pleasures and pains of worldly existence, which are fickle, coming and going like the weather. If you ask yourself, what brings me happiness and contentment? It may be your relationship with your loved ones, your career, or a comfortable lifestyle. But even if you have all these things, will you truly be happy without inner peace and calm? If you also ask yourself, how will I feel if my circumstances change? You may discover that your happiness is dependent on external events and circumstances. When situations change for the worse, like has happened to many in the COVID pandemic, will you still be so happy? A truly happy person is happy under all circumstances. External things and people may bring temporary happiness, which is important in day-to-day life. But they do not ensure lasting happiness, because when they're gone, happiness also disappears. So how do we create something more enduring? How do we train ourselves to be happy no matter what's going on in our life? That is the promise of yoga, to find the source of lasting contentment by diving to the center of our being Osho explains it like this: contentment is the discipline of the yogi. Nothing can take us away from the center. The highlighted portion: a truly happy person is happy under all circumstances. External things and people may bring temporary happiness, which is important in day-to-day life, but they do not ensure lasting happiness, because when they're gone, happiness also disappears. I often share the German philosopher Schopenhauer reflections about happiness, starting with his rhetorical question: how can we determine whether a man is happy or unhappy? He answers it by saying, true happiness is complete satisfaction of all desires. Mathematically, it would like this. It would look something like this. Happiness is equal to number of desires fulfilled divided by the summary divided by the summation of desire n into intensity of desire n. So the denominator, again I'll read it, it's a summation of the multiplication of each and every desired into the intensity with which we desire that. In other words, our happiness is inversely related to the number of desires we have multiplied by the intensity of each of them. Considering the number, if I have 10 desires and 5 are fulfilled, then we have 50% happiness. If 10 are fulfilled, we have 100% happiness. The more the desires we have, the harder it will be to fulfill them all. So less happy we will be. Considering the intensity, we may only have a few desires, but if they're very intense, we won't rest until they're fulfilled. What happens when we have no desires at all? The denominator becomes zero. Anything divided by zero is indeterminate. So happiness is limitless. Without desire, we don't expect anything. When we don't expect anything, we are not disappointed. Otherwise, the disappointment leads to anger. Anger leads to loss of equilibrium. Loss of equilibrium leads to fear. And eventually, we lose our humanity. Let's take a pause here. I think Daji has made a very powerful set of paragraphs here, where he has related happiness to our desires and given a solution, saying if our desires are zero, happiness is infinite. So let's introspect on this. 9 p.m. we'll start a universal prayer. It's going to be 9 p.m. now. It's 9 p.m. So let's start our universal prayer. Let's sit comfortably. Close our eyes, gently close our eyes. And with the heart full of prayer. Let's pray that all our brothers and sisters are being filled with love and devotion, and real faith is growing stronger in them. Like we have been discussing past few days, it's important that our heart is full of this love, devotion, and real faith. We are trying to pray for. Our prayer will be more effective if our heart is filled with these three qualities: love, devotion, and faith. So let's try to fill our heart with this and offer our prayers that all brothers and sisters are being filled with love and devotion, and real faith is growing stronger in them. हम आराम से बैठेंगे, अपना आंखें बंद करेंगे और एक गहरी प्रार्थना की भाव में डूब जाएंगे और ये प्रार्थना करेंगे कि सभी भाई बहन प्रेम और भक्ति से भर रहे हैं और उनमें सच्ची श्रद्धा दृढ़ होती जा रही है। जैसे हमने पिछले 2-3 दिन से बात कर रहे हैं, अपना हृदय में ये प्रेम, भक्ति की भाव और वो श्रद्धा जितना गहरा है, अपना वो प्रेयर उतना ही इफेक्टिव होगा। तो हम ये कोशिश करेंगे कि अपना हृदय में प्रेम, भक्ति भरेंगे और श्रद्धा बढ़ाएंगे और ये प्रार्थना करेंगे कि सब भाई बहन प्रेम और भक्ति से भर रहे हैं और उनमें सच्ची श्रद्धा दृढ़ होती जा रही है। Let's continue this till about 9:15 p.m. When trying to retain the prayerful condition we have gotten into, we can gently open our eyes. Before we close the program, a gentle reminder to everybody that all of us should sit for the bedtime prayer before we go to bed, reflect on the day and activities during the day, and do our bedtime prayer. So we come to the end of today's session. Thank you. See you all tomorrow at 8:15 p.m. in the evening. Tomorrow being Sunday, let's all attend our satsangs at our respective centers. Thank you. Good night. Namaste.